Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Fantasy Football Fix. My name is Tom Murphy Jr., and I'm here with Walton Spurlin of Pro Football Focus. Walton, how you doing?
Oh, Tom, I'm doing great. So happy to be back on the show after a week hiatus, and at the quarter point of the season, pretty much for most teams. A couple of teams had a bye last week, but it's coming off a wild and wacky week 4. Can't wait to start looking forward to week 5 and all the fantasy goodness to come.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, especially in the fantasy world as we approach the bye weeks now. So things start to get a little bit tricky. People got to start digging into their benches a bit. Where have you seen some trends now where maybe some things, some guys that maybe you didn't see coming, a guy maybe like a Phillip Lindsay or the Bears, Tariq Cohen. Those are a couple guys that I noticed have really taken the league, not by storm. You know, they're not tearing things up, but these are guys that you really didn't think much of, maybe didn't even get drafted in leagues, but then are really making some noise right now.
Right, yeah. You bring up a couple of great names there. I think somebody who we wondered about, and he obviously has more fantasy potential in PPR leagues, but a guy, again, like who's going to be playing tonight, like James White. You know, we knew the name from his huge Super Bowl, but it's, you know, he's tearing it up PPR-wise, you know, and with that offense and the running backs. We'll see now. Sony Michel is starting to come on, had a good week 4, so that could impact that. So you brought up Lindsey. I'd love to see him get the ball more. I think you look at Matt Breida out in San Francisco. Obviously had a big game against our Lions. He's been a little nicked up, but and then obviously injuries play a part when you talk about guys coming up. I think a lot of folks had written off DJ Yeldon of the Jaguars after he kind of appeared to be a bust, and then managed to hold on to the backup job. But now with Leonard Fournette in and out of the lineup so much, and especially this week, I like Yeldon, even though he's a little banged up. But a name like that, I mean, let's bring up a great name from the past, Adrian Peterson. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see him having this much left in the tank. Didn't know how he'd fit in Washington. But, you know, he's putting up top 12 numbers in PPR format. So those are some surprising names, you know, at least at the running back position.
Yeah, especially with Adrian Peterson, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah, you thought he was just done, washed up, had nothing left in the tank, and you look at this guy, and he's not, you know, going back to 2008 or nothing like that, but he's a solid guy that you can put in there and count for some points.
Oh yeah.
So you brought up Leonard Fournette, and there's other guys like Le'Veon Bell, who's now saying there's reports that he's going to come back week 7. You got a guy like Devontae Freeman. These are running backs that people drafted really, really high and have gotten absolutely nothing out of them so far. At what point do you start to look to trade away some of these guys that had a lot of value and may still have value down the road, but you're looking to get value now? So, like with a guy like Fournette or Bell, do you suggest holding on to these guys and just being patient, or is this a time to maybe trade these guys now and get what you can for them?
Right. I think one of the more interesting names you brought up, you know, again with Bell, I think you have to hold on to him because I don't think until he hits the field and has a Le'Veon Bell game, you know, where he lights it up, because I think you're going to get low ball offers right now. You know, and people are going to bring up, and I tell you this from experience because, you know, I have Bell in a couple of leagues, but I also have Connor, so I'm okay. But I was floating his name out there just to see what I get. And it's nothing near value. And people also cite, just on a side note here, they're like, oh, well, his offensive line doesn't even like him anymore. So when he gets there, it's going to be fun. I was like, you know what, I'm going to hold on to him until he has a Le'Veon Bell game, and then we'll see what kind of offers we can possibly get for him, you know, if I need to help my team. But another name is Devontae Freeman. Now, he's on track to play this week.
Yeah.
And he says he feels good. But he's the guy, if he comes out this week, kind of what I was touching on with Bell, but if he comes out this week and lights it up, and who knows, he might be on a snap count, he's always going to have Tevin Coleman there to eat into some of the production. But if he has a big week, I'm going to go ahead and move him, because this is an injury he's dealing with that's been lingering from last season. So if he lights it up, and I can get some owners to bite on him, I have no problem moving him, because you've mentioned some names of guys. Well, they're probably not on the waiver wire anymore, but there's always waiver wire possibilities. I mean, you look at Baltimore, I believe Alex Collins isn't practicing right now, so Buck Allen is somebody you could go out there to, Javorius Buck Allen, I guess I shouldn't say his whole name, but you could go out and pick up and see if he takes over as the lead back. Now, he's not lighting anything up right now, but if he ends up being, the number one back on a pretty decent offense. But yeah, it's, now this is the point of the season where, you can say, well, these guys are underperforming, but now this has been 4 weeks, or 4 games, so that's kind of the trend of the way it's going to go. I mean, just for me, you mentioned some disappointing players, but look at the Tennessee backfield. Well, we thought they had some thunder and lightning there with Henry, Deion Lewis. I think they're both averaging under or just around 3 yards per carry. They have 1 touchdown between them. And so you're not going to get anything for those guys. Again, for me, they have a big week. I'm all about that, because you have those owners in your league that don't look at the season as the entirety and how it's coming up here. They see a guy puts up a top 5 performance in a week. You can kind of start them.
Yeah. So I assume you had Mitchell Trubisky in all your leagues and you started him last week?
Oh, yeah, and I'm so sad he's on a bye this week. I know that. I love when that happens. Last weekend was so amazing, and I just jotted down some notes, and I think there was 9 teams that scored over 30 points, 3 teams that scored over 40 points. It was just a fantasy bonanza. And I think we all thought Trubisky lightened it up that way. I know. I'd love to be able to go and find the stat of how many people had him on their bench. I'm sure there were some, those 2 quarterback leagues that those people were feeling great.
Yeah.
And I guess there's the outside chance because, as I said, Carolina was on a bye last week, so maybe you drafted him as your backup to Cam Newton. You're feeling pretty good if you did that. But, it's those weeks that, Tom doesn't always think you second guess yourself. Like, why didn't I believe it? Trubisky more, and with Nagy going there. And he hadn't shown anything up to that point, other than folding in the second half against the Packers, that he could explode on something like that.
Yeah. Now, are there some quarterbacks? Now you have your top tier quarterbacks. You got your Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Jared Goff. Patrick Mahomes is up there now. But are these guys? Is this the point in the season where you could look to maybe trade one of these top-tier quarterbacks for a top-tier running back or a top-tier wide receiver and maybe go down the waiver wire and grab a guy? Is that something that you would suggest strategy-wise? I know it depends on scoring and such, but I guess what I'm saying is are the top quarterbacks so valuable that you can't go down and get a lower tier quarterback and still be successful and trade one of those top tier guys? Or is there too much of a gap if you got one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks that you don't want to risk trading, making a trade?
Right. I'm a firm believer that nobody's untouchable. I mean, obviously Mahomes is playing fantastic. At some point, I keep saying there has to be a lull, and it might be this week when he faces Jacksonville defense. I think we'll get a much better read on him. They're not pressuring the quarterback there or getting as many sacks as they did early last season, but that is still a really good defense on all levels. The defensive line, linebackers, you got Jalen Ramsey back there. That's going to be interesting, but you bring up a good point, and I think I might have mentioned it before on one of our other shows together, but I definitely would look to get rid of Tom Brady. He obviously right now he's not having top 12 numbers, but he's going to have a big game probably tonight against a banged up Indianapolis team. I really wish the Colts were a little healthier. I think we'd have a better game. But because if you look the past 3 years, he has faded late in the season or the fantasy playoff week, like say 13 13 to 16. Generally week 17, a lot of leagues don't do championships. So Brady's really faded. So any team I have him on, I'm waiting for him to go on a 2 or 3 game Tom Brady run. Maybe now that he's got Edelman back. Hopefully Gronk stays healthy. And then I'm definitely looking to move him to bolster, like you said, go out there and get a number 1 running back. If I can package Brady with somebody and get a Kamara or somebody like that, if an owner's willing, or Melvin Gordon even. I'm all about that. And the way this league is now, it's such a passing league. And again, as the season goes on, we see which teams you want to chase because they allow a lot of points to quarterback. You can mix and match. Like this week, I mean, a lot of people aren't probably going to talk about him a whole lot, but I'm high on Alex Smith. He's at New Orleans. New Orleans is just, every game's a shootout. They've already allowed almost 1,300 passing yards, 11 touchdowns. They only have 1 interception. And they've also allowed a rush TD. So a guy like Alex Smith, again, doesn't excite you when you hear the name, but when you see the matchup, you're all about it. And people don't love Flacco, but right now he's sitting right outside the top 12. He's going to have some nice matchups, down the stretch, and so. I like the strategy you touched on. And like I said, to me, nobody's untradeable. There's always a deal to be made, and if you have deficiencies in another position, especially a quarterback, don't be afraid to move that guy.
Yeah. Who are some guys that, if you are dealing with bye weeks at receiver or running back, who are some guys that you're looking at on the waiver wire, or who may be buried on your bench that you might look to play this week?
Okay, yeah, like a few names I jotted down, like say maybe, again, it's Chicago and Tampa Bay on a bye. Chances are, if you're hurting, if you had Mike Evans, Chicago, maybe you drafted Allen Robinson a little bit high, so you're looking at, I love, and I was just touching on Alex Smith, so I love both Jamison Crowder and Paul Richardson of the Redskins this week. Again, going up against the poorest New Orleans secondary. They each got a touchdown. I mean, Richardson's got 131 yards on 9 receptions. Crowder 9 receptions for 79 yards in the score. I think both of them could have a big week. I love Tyler Boyd, Cincinnati against the Dolphins. I mean, that kid's been great. He's been targeted 36 times. He has 26 receptions, 349 yards, 2 scores. More importantly, he's been targeted 5 times in the red zone. And he's, AJ Green is going to be drawing most of the coverage. So it's like, that's a nice name to have out there. Guys along those lines. I like, they're probably most of the guys are owned. Our Lions receivers, I like them this week. Obviously, you love, I think he's getting overlooked. I'm sure on a lot of teams, but Corey Davis, especially after his big week last week, he's got a quarterback who's got numbness in his fingers throwing to him. But hey, after a week like last week, he's somebody you can rely on. Now, Alshon Jeffrey's back.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of people, Julian Edelman's back this week. If you're getting ready to roll him out, and there's the Ridley kid in Atlanta. He's been a red zone hawk. So those are names I like John Brown in Baltimore. He didn't stay healthy in Arizona, but when he was, he flashed what he could do. Now he's doing it on a weekly basis. I think he's already got 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Who are some guys that you might look at sitting, like that at the beginning of the season you wouldn't even think about it, but right now it's kind of like, oh man, these guys really aren't producing, and I might have to put them on the bench. Like for me, I'm thinking now, if you got Odell Beckham, you're probably not going to bench him, but he is really not wowing anybody. And a guy like David Johnson, who right now, he's like, for me, I'm like, I got him in my flex, and I'm thinking maybe do I start, a guy like Golden Tate over him, or a guy that's like middle tier flex option. I'm starting to wonder if I should put David Johnson on the bench and play someone else. Who are some guys that you are really surprised that they are underperforming.
Right. You bring up Johnson. For me, I would stick with him just because, and I look at PPR scoring right now. The offense looked a little better with Josh Rosen last week. A lot better, actually, than the stuff that Sam Bradford was throwing out there. And now Johnson has crept himself back up to the 14th range, as far as running back PPR scoring. So right there, he's an RB2, a 12 or 10 king league. So I'm fine with Johnson, but there's guys like that I'm avoiding big time. That's like Russell Wilson. I just don't think we're going to see that Russell Wilson. I can carry the team, Russell Wilson, because that team is just so beat up and really bereft of talent at a lot of positions.
Yeah.
I mean, they're using Mike Davis at running back because Chris Carson's hurt. None of us even knew who either one of those players were 2 years ago. The defense isn't what it used to be. They're not setting him up in good position on short fields or anything along those lines. Some other names, obviously, I think, they beat up last week with Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott's the guy that I don't really see any reason to have in my lineup on a weekly basis. Well, I'll tell you something that's really disappointing. I don't see this changing because he's battling the hamstring injury, and that's Dalvin Cook. I'm sure a lot of people took him high, and now he's questionable for this week after missing practice today. So it's someone like that, you're disappointed in. And even as I mentioned, both Derrick Henry, Deion Lewis. I was one of those people that believed this is going to be a nice combination. They've got power back, they've got a scat back who can catch. This should really work. And the team might be 3-1, but those running backs are not good, at least for fantasy purposes.
Yeah. Well, Wally, is there anything else you want to talk to the people about before we wrap it up?
Real quick, just on our Lions, I think there's a couple of interesting names for the Packers that you're going to want to keep in mind. Obviously, if they have Aaron Rodgers, they're probably going to start it. What I'm worried about here is that as of today, Geronimo Allison's in the concussion protocol. He may not play. Randall Cobb is in practice today with a hamstring injury. Devontae Adams, after injuring his calf yesterday, sat out practice today. So I think you definitely want to have Jimmy Graham in your lineup because they don't have very many receiving options. And Ty Montgomery is an interesting name because I think he's going to end up lining up at receiver quite a bit this week. Probably still has running back designation in your league, so you're going to get really good production there. And, of course, for the Packers, Aaron Jones, I think, is the running back of choice, coming off a good week, and our Lions are struggling to stop the run. And, again, for the Lions, start the wide receivers, I wish they'd give the ball to Kerryon Johnson more.
What? It's baffling, is it? Like he shows such promise, and when he gets the ball, he produces. That touchdown run where he just ran over that guy on the goal line was fascinating to watch, and then obviously the fact that he finally broke the streak of getting 100 yards. Why do you think he doesn't get the ball more? And do you see this eventually changing, or is this something, this Kerryon, LeGarrette Blount situation, do you think that's just going to drag on?
Well, I'm not hopeful of what Patricia said. I believe I saw a statement where he thought that Kerryon was getting the ball plenty. But I am a little hopeful, and I never wish injury on people, though that LeGarrette Blount hasn't been a full participant in practices all week. I'm not sure what he's nursing, but yeah, we talked about before, Tom. I don't know why they're not giving the ball to Kerryon more. It's what bust off the 32-yard run. I know they didn't get a lot of the next one. And they shoot themselves in the foot there again, but yeah, they go away from it. And the one thing is not working. I think they've carried the ball both in the mid to high 30 range as far as carries. Johnson's averaging over 5 yards a carry. One's averaging under 3 yards a carry. And I don't get, unless Patricia's just trying to prove he's the smartest guy in the room, which so far he hasn't. It's time to unleash the beast and give it to Kerryon.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, listen, Walton, thanks for joining me today, and we'll talk to you next week, and good luck in your leagues.
Yeah, good luck to all your fantasy teams. Read my stuff at Pro Football Focus. Shameless plug. Have a great week, folks.
Pro Football Focus. All right, you are listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football Fix. My name is Tom Murphy Jr. I'm with Walton Spurlin of Pro Football Focus, and we will be back next week with more fantasy football insight for you. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you soon.